All right, guys, welcome back to the Art of Whiskey, man. And we've done a few weeded episodes, but Maker's Mark just dropped a brand new weeder because that's all they do.
Yeah, they're mostly weeded bourbons. They do have a wheat whiskey now called Star Hill Farms, but they've always been weeded bourbon.
And Chance, if you don't mind, remind them, if those who are new here, what is a weeded bourbon?
So a weeded bourbon is basically any bourbon that has wheat as the secondary grain that's the highest, right? So for it to be a weeded whiskey, it has to be 51% wheat. But a weeded bourbon is anything that's, 48% or lower. But a lot of them are like, high corn, and then wheat is the secondary grain. Mm-hmm. So you have high rise, low rise wheats. That's all talking about the secondary grain.
So just so I'm clear, bourbon has to be 51% for it to be called a bourbon.
Corn, yeah.
Corn. Next thing, let's say 51 bourbon, and I do 30% wheat, and then 20% rye. It's still a weeded bourbon.
Still going to be weeded bourbon. Yep.
Second largest number is what it is.
Yep. Yeah, and when we're talking about bourbon, we're always talking about corn whiskey, basically. But everybody kind of refers to the secondary grain as whether it's a high rye, low rye, weeded, those kind of things.
Interesting. So walk them through what people need to know about weeders, and even more importantly, if you've not been to Green River or tried Green River, I will tell you before it begins, this is the one y'all might be sleeping on.
Yeah.
One of our favorites thus far, and then shout out to the Whiskey Blendery because Tim purchased barrels that literally people got super excited about, and they had some weeded components that people have never tried before. Like, wow, that's from where? The OZ Tyler shit, all that stuff. So go ahead, my friend. You know more than me.
Yeah, and then one other thing on Green River, it's not in the tourist trail. I mean, the trail is like Louisville and Lexington and all that kind of things, and Bardstown. This is over in Owensboro. This is west of Louisville. It's about a 45-minute to an hour drive, but trust me, guys, you get out there, they will treat you right. Great people out there. So just a little heads up on Green River there. But wheats in general, they give you a more approachable, sweeter grain that people tend to like because it's kind of an easy transition into bourbons, even at higher proofs. When you talk about wheats, there's all kinds also as well. Sometimes there's cereal grain wheats, sometimes there's sweet wheats, and then there's sometimes funky wheats. So you can have the whole gambit there, and different producers focus on the different qualities there. This one's a little bit funky to you, I think, actually.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Be very candid and say I don't like it. Shout out to our guy Eric, the Whiskey Giant, who brought some wheats last week. And I forgot that Makers is the thing, guys. My journey started with no education and understanding, to be clear, but these guys have, as some of the young folks, they put me on game. Therefore, I have perspective. So if I see a brand in a store, you go with what you're told, you go with what you know, you go with what feels familiar. Makers felt familiar. Unfortunately, I never really liked Makers. So I would never, if they weren't around, be like, oh, let's get some of this Makers Mark. I don't want that stuff. Yeah. But Eric did bring some super good ones, to be clear. And this one isn't awful. It's just not my profile.
And then the other big weeder that everybody's familiar with is Weller.
But the Wellers are kind of hard to get. They're not like always on shelves, right?
Green labels are always on shelves, pretty much, and they're becoming more available. But all the rest of the rainbows are a little harder to obtain. But people are used to those. And now another weeder that we talked about earlier that I didn't bring, should have, that I think is a sleeper as well as Larceny Barrel Proof.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, I did ask you about that, Ken.
So that's a Heaven Hill weeder, and it's pretty good.
And out of all the grains, I know that rye is probably your favorite, but if you could rank the grains in order: wheat, rye, bourbon, all that good stuff.
Yeah. Recently, within the last 2 years, rye's have become my favorites, and then it's probably high rye, then wheats.
And high rye is?
Like I said, secondary grains higher. Most of the time, that's 36% rise, but it can be anything as long as it rye's the secondary grain in that.
Now, are you a one that likes when it's 99% rye?
That would be a straight rye. I do like 99 ones. Those are good. They can be good, but they have to have age.
9 plus, 10 plus.
Eight's kind of the break even for me. At 8, they start to do cool things.
There you go. And what else should they know about wheats or I guess wheated bourbons?
That they're not all the same. They're not built and constructed the same. One wheat's not going to taste like the other. Proof's going to have a lot to do with this thing. And then if you get into it, honestly, like blending with wheats are kind of fun because they make 4 grains.
Interesting. And so this is a barrel pick from Specs.
Yep.
And this is the one you bought from Kentucky.
Yeah, and this is a shelfer wheat, and this is a single barrel. So this one's been proofed down.
90 proof.
Right. And that one's just single barrel. Yeah.
Look, I couldn't read labels back in the day. I see DSP. I'm like, oh, that's a distillery number.
Yeah.
And I see, oh, single barrel specs wheat. Oh, there we go.
DSP 10, right?
10.
Yeah.
It was one of the oldest distilleries in Kentucky, and it didn't. You know, that might be a fun thing for us to do too, man. Is go through small history lessons, especially as we go visit. Because I have the footage still, I believe, of some of the. Well, I know I put a lot of it on my terabyte.
Yeah.
So we do some recaps or even revisit some of those emotions. Because drilling the barrels, that feels like home. I do that all the time. Go do that. You know, at the blender, I can at least, and he can too. But when you go somewhere else and they're like, have at it. Tim's literally like this.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, what is like being at work?
We are 6th floor on a plank.
And he's like, Trevor, don't bring your big ass out here.
2 of us couldn't stand on the same plank.
You couldn't do it, so you go. And he's like, you go to the other side, and if Buck came too, that thing would have snapped in half.
Yeah, and you can see all the way through to the floor. I mean, this place was not made for tourists, but we got to dig.
Bruh, no tourists whatsoever. But Green River was eye-opening. As far as like, what is this place? Why is it good?
Yeah, their history, OZ Tyler, all that kind of thing.
They rolled out the red carpet for us. Now, Chance, what's the difference between these two based on what you tried so far?
So this is a batch product that's been proofed down. That's you know, kind of like available to everyone. The single barrels are hard to catch, honestly, especially these weededs. And believe it or not, they're pushing the envelope a lot this year. They're coming out with a double toasted, which I'm very interested in. I want to try that.
Double toasted?
Yeah. And 375s only. So trying to give more people an opportunity to get it. But you had the single barrel at the KBF that we had in the decanter bottle. Oh, that was a weeded. That thing was
I can honestly say that's probably one of my favorite pours ever.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of pours, people from the Stags to the Kings to the rest of them, and hot handies to like. That pour was like, wow, man, what is this?
And these guys have more on the way too. I mean, we had some American Light whiskey, some experimental stuff that we can't talk about.
And I'm telling you right now, I don't hype nothing up. I either like it or I don't. I'm always going, man, I know Chances too. The only place we'll never tell you the truth about is the blender. No, I'm playing. We'll always say the truth there. That's true. But we'll never. But for sure, one of those places that reminded you that there are things to, well, there's reasons, Tim, sources. And when you go to a great source, what better way to add value to your library, if you would, than to be in a place that takes what they do very serious. And they, again, I don't want to say it's like some sneaky good stuff. You're like, what is this? Yeah. Because we'd already been to a couple different places, went to a few more. This was unique. The decanter was unique. Yes. Then when you put the decanter against the legends, you go, well, this was still number 10.
And then their story too, right? OZ Tyler was before Bardstown bought them. Bardstown bought them about 7 years ago. So those older barrels still were stamped OZ Tyler. We tried distill it versus distill it. I mean, it's a great growing brand with lots of diversity, and I love that.
And I hope that they master the marketing side, because if they don't, that would be sad. Yeah. Out of all the places I've been, and I've been a few places with Chance. We've dug in specific barrels. I've got a few more places to go. One of my favorite places in terms of whiskey, and even how they treated him, I'm like, oh, it's bad. He was like, hey, you guys got an extra second? Come down here, showing us the old camera.
The old printing press and all that. Yeah.
It was like, oh, this is history, man. I got to see firsthand. Well, if you're getting into the whiskey space, people, would you recommend building the collection with wheat to start, or what would you say? Like, what's the starter whiskey?
I think wheats are great introductory whiskey, but I would move on to there. I wouldn't stay there. Okay. People are going to like wheat. They're going to be approachable. Once this becomes like super sweet to you, move on to the high rise or the low rise. I think wheat, low rye, high rye, and then rye is kind of the order of progression that you should try. Everybody's a little different. Some people may like rye the first time they try. But if you've never had whiskey or you've never had high proof bourbon, I think that progression will give you less spice, less proof, and more learning along the way.
Interesting, guys. Well, stay tuned. Keep it whiskey. Thank you for watching. If you're out there and you see this on the shelf, look, I ain't gonna tell you what to do, because it's Tim and Chance and myself will tell you, man, it's all a matter of what you like. If you're a Makers fan, then hey, they left another mark, guys. Keep it whiskey.
Tell us if you like it.
Boom.